Hi, Eileen Veilleux, the fan here. Welcome to a new installment in our mini mental health series. And in today's installment, we will be learning about transient global amnesia. But before we begin, let me just remind you to please watch the full video because in the video, there'll be 3 key words. When I get to the keyword, I will say keyword, then what that keyword is. At the end of the video, in the comment section, along with a genuine comment about the video, put in what the 3 keywords are that you heard to be eligible for a free merch giveaway when I reach 2,000 subscribers. So let's get started. What is transient global amnesia anyway? Well, transient global amnesia is a sudden, temporary episode of keyword memory loss that can't be attributed to a more common neurological condition such as epilepsy or stroke. During an episode of transient global amnesia, your recall of recent events simply vanishes, so you can't remember where you are or how you got there. In addition, you may not remember anything about what's happening in the here and now. Consequently, you may keep repeating the same questions because you don't remember the answers you've just been given. You may also draw a blank when asked to remember things that happened a day, a month, or even a year ago. The condition most often affects people in middle or older age. With transient global amnesia, you do remember who you are, and you recognize the people you know well. Episodes of transient global amnesia always improve gradually over a few hours. During recovery, you may slowly begin to remember events and circumstances. Transient global amnesia isn't serious, but it still can be frightening. So, what are the symptoms of transient global amnesia? Well, let's find out together. Transient global amnesia is identified by its main symptom, which is the inability to form new memories and to recall the recent past. Once that system is confirmed, ruling out other possible causes of amnesia is important. These signs and symptoms must be present to diagnose transient global amnesia. The sudden onset of memory loss, verified by a witness. Retention of personal identity despite memory loss. Normal cognition, such as ability to keyword, recognize and name familiar objects and follow simple directions. Absence of signs indicating damage to a particular area of the brain, such as limb paralysis, involuntary movement, or impaired word recognition. Some additional symptoms in history that may help diagnose transient global amnesia are duration of no more than 24 hours and generally shorter. Gradual return of memory. No recent head injury. No evidence of seizures during the period of amnesia. And no history of active epilepsy. Along with these signs and symptoms, a common feature of transient global amnesia includes repetitive questioning, usually of the same question. For example, what am I doing here? Or how did we get here? So when should you see a doctor dealing with transient global amnesia? Well, seek immediate medical attention for anyone who quickly goes from normal awareness of present reality to confusion about what just happened. If the person experiencing memory loss is too confused to call an ambulance, call one for them. Although transient global amnesia isn't harmful, There's no easy way to distinguish the condition from the life-threatening illness that can cause sudden memory loss. So what is its causes? What causes this to happen in middle age to older people? Well, excuse me. Some of the underlying causes of transient global amnesia is unknown. There appears to be a link between transient global amnesia and a history of, keyword, migraines. Though the underlying factors that contribute to both conditions aren't fully understood, another possible cause is the overfilling of veins with blood due to some sort of blockage or other abnormality with the flow of blood, otherwise commonly called venous congestion. While the likelihood of transient global amnesia after these events is very low, some commonly reported events that may trigger it will include sudden immersion in cold or hot water, strenuous physical activity, sexual intercourse, medical procedures such as angiography or endoscopy, mild head trauma, acute emotional distress, as might be provoked by bad news, conflict, or overwork. Are there any risk factors involved with transient global amnesia? Well, interestingly enough, high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which are closely linked to strokes, are not risk factors for transient global amnesia. This is probably because transient global amnesia doesn't represent blood vessel diseases or aging. Your sex doesn't seem to affect your risk either. The clearest risk factors are age, which are people 50 and older have a higher risk of transient global amnesia than do younger people. History of migraines. If you have migraines, your risk of transient global amnesia is significantly higher than that of someone without migraines. Are there any complications to transient global amnesia? Well, of course, with any medical condition, there may be complications, so let's find out what they are. Transient global amnesia has no direct complications. It's not a risk factor for stroke or epilepsy. It's possible to have a second episode of transient global amnesia, but it's extremely rare to have more than two. But even temporary memory loss can cause emotional distress. If you need reassurance, ask your doctor to go over the results of your neurological exam and diagnostic test with you. Is there any prevention that we can do with this? Well, because of the transient global amnesia is unknown and the rate of recurrence is low, there's no real way to prevent the condition. Now, I don't know if this would be included as transient global amnesia because I've had this a long time. What I've experienced with myself, is somewhat like that. But mine was due to my vision problem that I have. I remember I would be walking with my cane, excuse me, and all of a sudden I would have, like, I call a minor blackout. I wouldn't pass out, but things would go black, like I would go totally blind for a minute, and I would get disorientated. Um, I would lose my sense of what I was doing during that disorientation. I would have to stand there for a minute to get my thoughts together because I was so disoriented. I didn't remember where I was going or what I was doing. So, like I said, I don't know if that would be considered transient global amnesia, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. But mine was caused from my eyesight problems that I have. Like I said, I would be using my cane that blind people use, and I'd be walking with my late husband, and we would be going somewhere, and I would tell him, okay, I need to go check this out, and I would start walking, and all of a sudden, everything would go black for me, and I would be just totally disoriented, where I didn't remember what I was doing or anything. And it took just a little bit of standing there. Of course, I'd be on the sidewalk, you never walk on the street, and I would have to stand there until my thoughts came back. And I remembered, okay, I was on my way to do this, and I could move forward. And that's happened a couple of times. So it's kind of generally like this amnesia, the transient global amnesia. Like I said, there's, the causes are unknown for transient global amnesia, so it could have been that. But I was much younger. Mine could have been from the stress, the blackout of all of a sudden seeing and then everything black, just that stress could have done it right there. Which it is scary at the time you're doing it, but no, it wasn't life threatening. But it is a very scary moment, when you're in the middle of doing something or going somewhere, and all of a sudden you don't remember what's going on. You just totally blank out. And it does take a minute or two to get your thoughts back together where you can remember, oh, that's right, I was heading here or I was doing this. So, yes, I can testify that it is a very scary feeling to go through something like that. So, if you're walking with somebody or you see somebody and you just see them kind of looking around or staring blankly, don't assume something. Reach out to that person. Ask them, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Don't judge people, because a lot of times when we judge by what we see here, we don't know what's going on in here. Your eyes do not tell you what's going on inside somebody's head. They can't see that disability. The eyes only see physical disability. And it's a proven fact. Outside beauty or whatever is fading. Look at all these models. These people that you see on the magazines. They get them when they're really young. But they have such a short career for their lifespan because the magazine and the model agencies knows that beauty wanes, which means the outside beauty does not last. So as the models get older, they get replaced by the younger ones. That's why they have a high rate turnover. Now, of course, some models will go and spend the money so they can stay young looking forever. But believe me, even doing that has its consequences in later years. All the work, and the chemicals that's put into the body will catch up to somebody within years, just like some of the things we eat. For an example, my dad used to be able to eat the jalapeno peppers in a jar. A whole jar at him at a time, and it never bothered him. Now, he cannot touch anything hot or spicy like that because it catches up to us later on in our years. So we need to remember to judge from the heart and not with the eyes, because the eyes will lie to you. The eyes can look at a person and say, they're okay. Well, look at me for an example. You look at me with your eyes, and if you don't know me, you think everything is fine. Everything's okay. I don't have any type of disability. Your eyes can lie both to you from physical aspects sometimes and mental. For an example, I am legally blind. If I do not use my cane because I know my surrounding area and I walk, and I don't have a seeing eye dog and I don't have a blind cane, but I stay within an area that I know, you'll look at me and think everything's perfectly normal. You won't know that I'm legally blind. Your eyes aren't going to tell you that. You won't know that I have a vision problem until I read something. We could be going out to dinner and talking and having a good time. We get to the restaurant, the menu's up on this big board. You don't know what's going on. I'm staring there at that menu like, what should I do? I can't read it. You don't know anything's going on until I ask if they have a paper menu, or I ask you, would you mind reading me that menu? I cannot see the words, so I can't see what's on the menu. I can see the pictures. But that's not going to, if you go in a restaurant, that doesn't quite tell you everything that's involved with your meal. So that's just one example. Another example why we should never judge with our eyes is for somebody that's deaf. You look at them, you don't know that they're deaf. You don't know until you're not looking at them face to face and you say something and they say, huh? What? Can you repeat that? Then you may think, they may have a hearing problem. But that's the second time your eyes deceived you just with a physical disability. And there's other physical disabilities that the eyes can't see, like fibromyalgia and things like that. Your eyes can't see everything, but your heart can. And that's why it is so important to always look with your heart and not your eyes. But before I go, I want to get close to you and personal. I want each and every one of you out there to know that you, and you, yes, every one of you are important to me. You matter because I care. We need to lead by an example, and I want to be your example on how we should look with our hearts and not our eyes. Because I care about you for you. I don't care what's wrong with you physically or mentally. I care about you as a person, as a whole. And remember, never, ever do anything alone. If you're suffering mentally and struggling with anxiety or stress, reach out. If you don't want to reach out to somebody in the medical field, reach out to a friend, a fellow YouTuber. But make sure you can trust them before you open up together. Because a true friend is not going to go and blast something all over YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. They're going to be there to encourage, support, and uplift you. If you start talking to somebody because you need to vent or you just need to talk to somebody to help make you feel better, and they're not encouraging you, uplifting you, or inspiring you, stop talking to them about what's going on. Because all they're going to do is cause you more hurt. Remember that. And remember, I love each and every one of you for who you are. So until we see each other again, bye. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.